Hello students, welcome to the part 6, the last part of our second chapter. Today we are going to discuss about continuous charge distribution and torque on the electric dipole when it will be placed in the uniform electric field. In the Coulomb's law, which is valid only for static point charges, we have seen that a point charge is that which is present on a body of infinitesimally small dimensions. That is, the charge present on a body of almost zero dimensions. If this is the case, when we are talking about the point charges, the distribution of such point charges on the surface of a body is discontinuous or discrete in nature. For example, as it is shown on your screen, the white dots are indicating the position of the point charges which are of zero size. Important property of these things is that we can exactly pinpoint the location of each charge, and the distance between the charges is very larger as compared to size of each charge. But when we encounter the charge present on the surface in our day-to-day life, this is not what we get. The charge present on the surface of the body in day-to-day life looks like what is on your screen on to the right side, where so much huge amount of the charges are present on the surface that it is very hard to pinpoint the location of each charge. Reason, the charges are so much closer to each other that the distance between the charges is very small as compared to the size of each charge. So whereas on the discrete charge distribution, the actual surface area occupied by the point charges is very negligible as compared to the total surface area available to them. In continuous charge distribution, the charges present on the surface of the body, they almost occupy the surface area which is available for their resting. So in this case, when we are not able to find any gap between the two charges where no charge is present, this type of charge distribution appear continuous to us, and we call this as continuous charge distribution. Today we are going to learn how to find electric field for such type of continuous charge distribution, which are certainly not point in size. Before that, there are three types of the charge distribution. First, linear charge distribution. Charge distributed along a line or a one-dimensional curve is called as the linear charge distribution. For example, if the charge is distributed on a thin wire or a string, we call that as a one-dimensional or a linear charge or line charge distribution. Surface charge distribution. If the charge is distributed on a two-dimensional surface with a negligible thickness, we call it as a surface charge distribution. But if the charge is distributed on a three-dimensional surface enclosing a certain volume, we call it as the volume charge distribution. In first case, it was an example of charge on a thin wire. In second case, the charge present on a piece of paper, or in case of third, charge present on a cubical box. How to find electric field due to such charge distribution? The first step is to define what we call as the charge density. For line charge, we define linear charge density, which is defined as the total charge divided by the total length of the line on which the given charge is present. In SI unit, it is measured in coulomb per meter. If we are talking about two-dimensional charge distribution, for that we define surface charge density, which is total charge over total surface area on which the charge is present. It is measured in coulomb per meter scale. For volume charge distribution, we define volume charge density, which is total charge divided by total volume on which the charge is present. It is measured in coulomb per meter cube. So, first step is to find the charge density. Second step is to define the charge element and find charge in that element using the charge density. What is charge element? a very small piece of the charge distribution. For example, in case of line charge, if we take a very small little portion of the string on which the charge is present, such that the size or the length of that small portion is infinitesimally small, almost close equal to 0, we call that small portion of the total wire on which the charge is present as the line charge element. Similarly, for a surface, if we take a surface area whose value almost goes equal to 0, or in case of volume charge, if we take a small volume of the total volume available to us whose value or size goes almost close equal to 0, we call that as the volume charge element. Why we are taking it? Because we already know that we will be using the Coulomb's law expression to find the electric field, but Coulomb expression is valid only for the static plus point charges which are 0 in size, charges present on a body of 0 size. But here we are talking about the continuous charge distribution which are certainly not having the 0 size. So in order to make Coulomb law expression to be valid over here, first we have to find the point charge, which is done with the help of finding the charge element, and then we find the charge in that 0 size charge element, which will obviously be point in nature. In third step, we find the electric field due to this charge element, and in the last step we integrate the expression in the third step in order to get the total electric field. So how we are going to actually find the electric field by following this step? Let us see now. We are trying to find electric field due to an infinite line charge. This is infinite line charge, means we have a wire or a string of infinite length on which a certain amount of charge is distributed uniformly. We are talking only of a uniform distribution. One thing that you have to make sure, when the size of the body on which the charge is present, whether it is a line charge, surface charge or volume charge, is infinite in nature, how much total charge is present on that body we can never know because of its infinite size. So our problem is to find out the electric field due to the infinite line charge. In order to do that, we consider only a small portion of that. So the line charge itself extends from minus infinity to plus infinity, but we want to find electric field due to charge on this infinite line charge at the observation point P, which is present at a distance y from the small segment which we have considered out of total infinite length, which is of given length L and which is holding a charge Q. So in the first case, we are taking up a small length of the infinite line charge having charge Q, and we will try to find the observation electric field at this observation point. In the first step, we define linear charge density. We have already assumed that the charge is uniformly distributed, so total charge density, linear charge density, will be total charge divided by total length, Q by L equal to lambda. Remember, Q is not the total charge, L is not the total length of the wire. Actual length of the wire is infinite, actual charge present on the wire is also infinite, so we are considering the length and the charge on the wire only for this particular length L. Second step, we define the charge element of length dx on the wire and we will find the charge on it. So here we are indicating a small portion of the total length L of length dx with the condition that dx is approaching 0, so that the charge dq present on it is also approaching to 0, so that it can qualify as a static point charge. It is present at a distance x. How much charge is present on it? For that we will make use of the definition of the linear charge density. Linear charge density was total charge divided by the length of the element. So the charge on the element will be equal to linear charge density multiplied by length of element. That is dq will be equal to lambda into dx. We already defined lambda So dq becomes equal to q by L into dx. Third step, finding field due to this element at the observation point. So here we have the observation point at distance x. So if we place a test charge q naught at the observation point, then the charge dq is going to repel the test charge q naught at point P in the straight line direction as indicated on your screen. So because we are finding the electric field only for a small infinitesimally small charge, so electric field it will be extending at the point P will also be indicated by dE. Now this electric field dE is making an angle theta with the vertical axis, that is the y-axis. What is the value of this electric field? This electric field will be given by 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught dq divided by x square plus y square. X square plus y square is the distance between the observation point and the charged element dq, which you can easily find using the Pythagoras theorem. You can see that field is now making angle theta with the y-axis. So in order to find out the total field, we have to divide it into its rectangular components. In order to do that, we drop a perpendicular from dE onto the y-axis, where we have the two rectangular components, horizontal component dEx as dE sin theta and vertical component dEy equal to dE cos theta. Now before we proceed further, if we can assume a charge element dx at a distance x from the origin O onto the right side, equivalent line charge dq can also be considered to be present onto the left side. So this dq element is also going to apply its own electric field dE, because dq on both the line elements is same and its distance from the origin on either side is also same. So electric field it is extending at the point P, it is also same as that of the earlier case. It is also making an angle theta, which can also be divided into rectangular components dE cos theta and dE sin theta. So we have divided the two fields into their rectangular components. So what will be the total electric field? So that we have to concentrate on this part. So here we have that all the components in horizontal and vertical direction. You can see the horizontal components are exactly cancelling each other. It is only the vertical component dEy which is getting adding up into each other, pointing in same direction to give the total field. So total field is integral of dEy or integral of dE cos theta carried along the length of the wire from minus infinity to plus infinity. After substituting the value of dE, we have the limit 2 times from 0 to infinity 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught dq over x k plus y square into cos theta, where we have used the property of integral, that is integral of a function fx dx moves from minus infinity to plus infinity, then changing the limit from 0 to infinity we have to multiply it with the factor of 2. Using that definition dq equal to lambda dx, we have the expression 2 over 4 pi epsilon naught lambda dx over x square plus y square cos theta integral from 0 to infinity. In order to solve this integral, we substitute x equal to y tan theta, then dx will be y into secant square theta d theta. Substituting this value and taking lambda outside the integral because it is a constant factor, we are left with the equation integral of y secant square theta d theta over y square tan square theta plus y square. So in the denominator we can take y square common. In the numerator 1y is there, in the denominator y square is there. So after cancelling we will be left with 1y in the denominator, and 1 plus tan square theta is secant square theta. So secant square theta will be cancelled and we will be left with only integral of cos theta d theta, which after solution gives 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught 2 lambda over y. Thus electric field for an finite line charge is given by 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught 2 lambda divided by y. Y is the distance of observation point from the line charge. So because lambda is constant, it shows that electric field is inversely varying with the distance of observation point from the line charge. So if we plot it graphically, it will look like over this. Maximum field will be when the distance of the observation point from the line charge will be 0, that is when observation point will be on the line charge itself, and as the distance goes it will go on decreasing and ultimately it will become 0 only at infinite distance. So it was the expression of electric field due to infinite line charge distribution. Similarly, if we are given the charge distribution of 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional nature, we can also find the electric field like in this case. Thank you.